Well, here we go. We're back for week 5. Mike and Sidekick right back in the cozy confines of the Frat House. Sidekick, you smell that? That's not the smell of autumn leaves or cool weather. That's the smell of sports. See, it's October,
yes.
huh? What do we got going?
It's heating up, isn't it?
We got Major League Baseball. We are here tonight on the first night. Are you ready? First night of the NHL season kicking off. But what we need to get to this evening more than anything else, top 5 games in the NFL that we think are going to have an impact this week. All right? And we're going to start right off with that 1 o'clock game on Sunday. 1 o'clock game on Sunday. Tennessee Titans 3-1 at the Pittsburgh Steelers 2-2. You know, can I tell you right now, Pittsburgh Steelers just don't look like a very good team. Any ideas?
No, I think it's time for them to wrap it up for the season. They're not playing football.
When you take a look, a week ago we saw Romo down there in Dallas being hailed. This week, what did we hear? We heard Roethlisberger absolutely being torn apart. Take a look at numbers here. Roethlisberger last week against the Houston Texans in a loss, 53% completion rate, 206 yards, didn't look bad there. 0 TDs, 1 interception, and 5 sacks. I'm looking around this. They were 5 of 12 on third down conversions. Pittsburgh just doesn't look very good. Matt Hasselbeck, on the other hand, up there in Tennessee, doesn't look terrific either, really, when it comes right down to it. Right. 50% completion rate. He did have 3 TDs. The real star of that game was Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson, 23 carries, this is my opinion now, 23 carries, 101 yards. I think Chris Johnson was the star of that particular game. And in this particular matchup, I'm not quite sure. We've got Pittsburgh as a 3-point favorite. I'm just not quite sure where we might be heading with this one. It really looks to me like a matchup of 2 kind of mediocre teams.
Right. Because, the Titans have had dismal rushing all season.
Yeah.
They're averaging 67 yards a game with 2.8 yards per attempt. So there's no running game there. Steelers, on the other hand, on their defense, they're marginal at best defending the run.
Yeah. They're
letting up 120 yards per game with 4.8 yards per attempt. So, neither team is really jumping out. I mean, Tennessee's got the good record. I'm going to go with Tennessee for the week.
Yeah.
For the win this week, based on the fact that they've allowed the fewest points in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
And I would agree. I've got to go with Tennessee on this one as well. I just think that, in a matchup here of 2 mediocre teams, if Chris Johnson has a game like he did last week, I think, in fact, they should come out on top. And I just don't know where Roethlisberger's going. All right, we're moving on to Game 2. Game 2, we've got Oakland 2-2 at the Houston Texans, who are now 3-1. And I guess I got to apologize at this point. Boy, I really ripped into Jason Campbell last week, but what a game he had! What a game he had this week, huh? 64% completion rate. 344 yards, 1 TD. He did have 2 interceptions. Darren McFadden was right there again. All right, Darren McFadden had 123 all-purpose yards. They were penalized quite a bit, and we're going to see that on the other side as well. Houston also, the team they're playing against, penalized as well. 9 for 64 yards was Houston. 9 for 85 yards was Oakland. This looks like 2 teams that maybe a little bit undisciplined. When you go over on the Houston side, Matt Schaub, a little bit of I hate to keep using the word mediocre, but a little bit of a mediocre game. 318 total yards of offense for Houston last week. 180 yards on the ground. That coming from Arian Foster. No surprise there. 30 carries, 155 rushing yards, and 1 TD. Houston favored by 6 in this game against Oakland.
Well, this is an interesting matchup this week because you've got 2 of the best running teams in the NFL going at it. So, expect a lot of run this week.
Yeah.
as you point out, the Raiders, the most penalized team in the NFL, always at the wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
So, for the Raiders to get a win this week, they're really going to have to play some smart football and actually, keep their heads in the game on this one. I don't think it's not unreasonable they can get a win, but I'm going with the Texans. I've been high on them all season with them taking the South, so I'm sticking with the Texans.
And I got to tell you, I'm going to pick Oakland on this game. Despite the fact, again, I think this is a somewhat in-between game, a little bit of a mediocre game here that we're looking at. I'm going to pick Oakland on this game for the upset. All right? Game 3. Game 3, we've got the Jets at New England. Sunday, that's the 4:15 game. I'm going to tell you something. Our people were really hard-pressed to find a player of the game for the Jets. What an abysmal, horrible game the Jets had last week. Mark Sanchez, frankly, he shouldn't even put his cleats on. 31% completion rate? Seriously? 119 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, 2 sacks, 4 fumbles, 3 of them lost.
And Mike picked them last week.
Thanks for reminding me. All right. Story of the game, in my opinion, on this one, right here, was the Jets' ineffectiveness. Seriously, 4 turnovers. All right? They had 4 turnovers, 7 first downs to 16 for the Ravens. All right? They were 4 of 15 on third downs. Is there anything good we can talk about with the Jets? Yes, there's only one thing. How about Joe McKnight? He had 2 kickoff returns for 135 yards. 135. This was the year where kickoff returns weren't going to amount to anything. He had 2 kickoff returns for 135 yards and a touchdown. So that was the best we could do for a player of the game for the Jets. On the other side, you've got the Patriots. All right, Brady, in my opinion, again, had a modestly, I don't know if I would necessarily call it a great Brady day. I don't know, maybe we're just getting too, desensitized. We think this guy should go out there every week and do 400 yards or something. I'm looking at the numbers. He had 2 TDs. He was sacked once. His completion rate was 53%. In my opinion, Wes Welker is the man over there with the New England Patriots. Patriots are favored by 9. That's a high spread. Jets are 2-2. Patriots 3-1. Jets are at the Pats. Where are we going?
Well, on this one, the Jets we're talking. They're averaging 71 yards a game rushing for 3.1 yards per attempt. And Rex Ryan loves ground and pound. They've got no running game. He needs to get back to the running game. But on the other side, let's talk about the Patriots giving up 500 yards on defense last week.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Brady's going to have to keep slinging them and having these 400-yard games if they're going to win.
Yep.
If the defense keeps giving up 500 yards.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to go with the Patriots on this one. Because I think Tom's going to get him out, Tom, Wes Welker. Yeah, that's okay. And,
well, I'm going to go with, I'm going with New England as well. I don't know if, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, and I think I was wrong there, but I don't know if they're going to meet that 9-point spread. I just think interdivision games create that kind of rivalry, and I think that 9 points might be a little high. But, boy, they were so bad last week, the Jets, that I can understand why that spread so high. Game 4, Green Bay. This is the Sunday night game. We got the Sunday night game at 8:30. We got Green Bay at the Atlanta Falcons. Green Bay 4-0. All right, they put a trouncing on the Broncos last week. Aaron Rodgers was out of this world. 29 of 38, 76% completion rate, 408 yards, 4 TDs. There was 507 total yards of offense. They were 9 of 13 on third down conversions. The Green Bay defense had 3 interceptions, and one of them was converted for a touchdown from Charles Woodson. Let me steal a line. I mean, Green Bay looks like the complete package. The Falcons, on the other hand, Matt Ryan did not have a bad day. 67%, 291 yards, 1 TD, no interceptions. And the most amazing thing to me on this particular game, Atlanta controlled the ball. They had the ball for over 40 minutes in that game. Really?
Who had time?
They had time. They had time. That's who had time. They had it against Seattle. Are you kidding me? And this was a close game. They only beat Seattle by 2 points, but they had the ball for over 40 minutes. Insane. Mike Turner, 2 TDs on 70 yards of rushing. 2 TDs from him. Green Bay's favored by 6.
Well, I only got one thing to say about, Green Bay Packers. They're leading the NFL in scoring. They're averaging 37 points a game. I'm going with the Pack.
You got to. There's no choice here.
Yep.
Again, this is one where I think it might be a situation where they may not necessarily make that spread, but the Pack outright. Game 5. We're at Game 5. We are at the Monday night game. This is classic game. Chicago Bears 2-2 at Detroit 4-0. Detroit's a 5.5 point favorite. Jay Cutler last week. Can he spell mediocre? Really? 53%, 102 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked once. This game for Chicago was completely on the back of Matt Forte, my buddy, right there. I love the guy. 205 yards rushing on 25 carries. He had an additional 23 yards receiving on 4 receptions. Chicago defense did have an interception and a 20-yard TD. But 3 of 10 on third down conversions. Detroit, the team nobody expected to be anywhere where they are right now. Matt Stafford, 49% completion rate. Doesn't look very sexy at all. 4 of 13 on third down conversions. Really, the Lions won because Romo had such a bad day. I mean, Romo threw 3 interceptions, and Detroit defense converted on 2 of those. So, 5.5 points for Detroit.
Well, this game's going to be my diggity bomb pick of the week.
All right.
All right. How about the Lions? NFC North. 2 undefeated teams. The only 2 undefeated teams in the NFL right now are both in the North. So, I'm going to go with the undefeateds. I'm going to take the Lions on this one.
I'm picking the Lions as well. And that's our wrap for 5 games. We're introducing a new segment here. 5 minutes outside the Frat House. I had the chance last week to get up to Maple Grove and meet a legend, a hero of mine, and that was John Force, who is NHRA's 15-time champion for the funny cars. And what we're going to do is every once in a while we're going to introduce this, we're going to throw it in there, and we're going to have some footage, and we're going to bring in stuff that we get to see on the outside of this cozy little place that we live in. And so today, as the credits are rolling, you're going to get a chance to see a little bit of John Force in his funny car hot rod going up the strip in 4 seconds from last week. All right, folks, keep it real, keep it live, keep it going. We'll see you next week.